Welcome to In Conversation webinar series brought to you by HireMe Africa. Welcome to In Conversation webinar series brought to you by HireMe Africa.
Join HireMe Africa's Work Readiness Program, where you learn soft skills such as professional branding, emotional intelligence, public speaking, and so much more.
Register on www.hiremeafrica.com/career programs.
To In Conversation webinar
Join HireMe Africa's Work Readiness Program, where you learn soft skills such as professional branding, emotional intelligence, public speaking, and so much more.
Register on www.
Looking for fresh talent that's trained, motivated, and ready to deliver? HireMe Africa prepares interns through a structured program covering emotional intelligence, digital skills, and workplace readiness. As a partner, you gain access to trained, motivated, and agile interns who add value from day one with zero recruitment hassle. Join our growing network of partner companies. Gain access to structured onboarding, real impact, and future hires you can trust. Build your dream team. Shape Africa's workforce. Partner with HireMe Africa today. Digital skills and workplace readiness. As a partner, gain access to trained, motivated, and agile interns who add value from day one. Join our growing network of partner companies. Gain access to structured onboarding, real impact.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of In Conversation with HireMe Africa. I'm your host, Lorraine Penduka. I'm the co-founder of HireMe Africa. So today we've got an exciting lineup. Before we were hearing from people in positions of hiring companies, CEOs, people within various industries. But today we figured let's have an opportunity to speak to the very talent that we are servicing, that we are helping, so that we get an understanding of what is actually going on the ground. And today I'm excited. I'm joined with some of our alumni from our work readiness program. We also have those who are currently in the program, based in Kenya. We've got Moga, who's originally from Chad, and she's studying in Rwanda. And we have Shine, who's originally from Uganda, but is in Equatorial Guinea. And they've all been a part of our program. So we're going to take this time just to find out a little bit more about them and about how they are foreseeing the profession that they are studying for, and what are some of the challenges that they experience in the job market, and what they feel the future holds as the people who are coming into that workspace. So we're going to start off with Moga, and I'm just going to have a brief conversation with her and find out what life is like for her, not only as a current student, but someone who will be in the workplace. So Moga, welcome, and thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Good afternoon, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to attend the conversation.
Right, so we'll just go straight into some of the things I'm really curious about. And I want to find out about your journey. How did you begin? Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're studying and what sparked your interest in law.
Okay, so my name is Muga Dene Odronziglia, and I'm a third-year law student at the University of Les Adventistes of Kigali. So, doing law, I didn't know that law has that many fields. I was thinking that law is about, going to court, but attending class, I realized that law is too much large, and then you have to choose a field. And currently, I'm interested in trade law and arbitration. In trade law, because trade law focuses on business beyond one country. It's about international agreements, partnership, cross-border partnerships, and then dispute settlement involving a lot of people or two people from different countries. And arbitration, on the other side, is about dispute settlement without going to court. You know, it's about settling dispute amicably, but the outcome, the decision is mandatory without going to court, because to court it takes time. It's a lot going on, but in arbitration, the rules are flexible. This is what I'm in right now.
Right. So take us a little bit back into understanding how you got this interest in law, and currently you're studying it and you're learning about the industry, the requirements. What does that look like? What does the future look like for someone like you who's in this path?
Okay, to be honest, it is uncertain because I'm still asking myself if arbitration or trade law is the right path for me, if I'm taking the right decision. So currently, I'm still searching more about those fields, what are the outcomes, and I'm open to explore more other fields to know exactly what I really want.
Right, that's fair enough because you haven't had that much exposure, and you still need to explore other avenues in order for you to make that final decision. And like you said at the beginning, that law is so broad, you can literally stumble upon something that you like. So in terms of the skills that you need beyond the lecture rule, what do you think are some of the practical skills that matter for students who are pursuing this profession?
We have communication skills because you have to explain your ideas clearly. We have research skills because you must know where to look when you have an essay, a topic, or an assignment. You must know where to look for laws, right laws, for cases and necessary documents you need to work on the assignment you are given. So it is, yeah, the research skills. We have also the writing skills. You have to know how to clearly write your ideas and follow the chronology. You don't have to jump from one point to another. You have to follow the chronology so that you can write a good paper. We have also the critical thinking because you have to understand and analyze the issue so that you can come up with the solution. Yeah. Those
Right.
are things that matter.
Those are really important skills, especially communication. That forms really the basis of what you do in law. It's the ability to communicate with people, understand what they want and need, and be able to draft, let's say, for example, contracts that they need. So it's more than just written, it's also verbal communication. Now, when you look at the law industry and thinking about after I've completed my studies, I need to go out there into the job market. What do you think are some of the biggest challenges that you've heard of, or maybe you've even experienced it yourself, getting into the job market, understanding internships or attachments? What are some of the opportunities that await graduates that you've noticed?
Okay, so the biggest challenge was rejection because when you are in class, they do not teach you about rejection. They do not tell you clearly about the job market. They tell you, read, pass, and then when you will be working, you have to do this and that. You have the ethic you have to follow. So, but they do not talk about the rejection. You will apply. Internship, even for academic internship, it is really, really difficult to get it. The worst part is that when you apply, you won't get feedback. So you will just be there waiting. You don't know if you are rejected, if they will send you an approval email. No, nothing. So you'll be there waiting. This is the first thing. And then when you got eventually the internship, if you are lucky, because it is not easy, when you get one, the workplace, you realize that you can be like from the same age, but you don't have the same background. You are an intern, they are professionals. You are not friends. It is a professional environment. You are not friends. So it is somehow difficult to manage people like you. I can quote it like that, like you, but not like you at the same time. So you have to learn how to be professional, and they do not teach that in class. No, they do not. They teach you about theory, about the law, about the rules, but they do not teach you about the workplace. So it is different and difficult. But you will adapt.
All right, that's the reality of job hunting on any level. It's not knowing, not receiving that response. And I think from a recruiter's perspective, when we have thousands just for one position, to individually give the feedback that people have, I can tell you now it's literally something that is time consuming, as well as you want to focus on actually putting the person in the role. You will find that at other places you will get no responses. I mean, I've experienced it personally when I have zero response. I've sent hundreds of applications and I would get absolutely no feedback, zero responses from them. And it is something, the rejection is something that can create despondency in a person, because you don't know whether there's a fault that you need to fix. But as we prepare interns, we're hoping to instill that resilience, that you keep going despite not receiving any feedback from you. So what would you want, let's say, future employers to know or to understand about ambitious students who really just want to get the opportunity to put their foot in the door? You just want that chance to be able to learn from them, as well as for them benefiting from what you have learned in university.
I will tell them to be more flexible, because I'm a fresh graduate without any experience. I'm looking for the experience. If you don't give me a chance, how can I get that experience? How am I going to apply what I've learned? How am I going to learn from, experienced people, and then having my own experience? And then also, when they have interns, they must let them know that mistakes are part of learning, of the learning process. It is, yet it can be a big deal and not a big deal at the same time. So you have to guide them, so that they can learn from their mistake and then avoid the same mistake in the future.
Okay, and that's why it's important to have structured internships where you have someone that is guiding an intern through this thing. It helps them to grasp the concepts. And yes, that is the time for them to make the mistakes, because it's still learning. It's like a baby walking. They will stumble, they will fall, they will get up, and through that experience, they're now stronger. They know what caused them to stumble. So that is a great advice or a recommendation to hiring companies and organizations. Now, what would you say to fellow students who are maybe in their first year or considering taking the legal profession? How would they start to prepare themselves for it the way that you did?
Okay, I will say that there is no manual for readiness. It's every people or each people has his or her own way of functioning. So what works for me cannot work for you or must not work for you. But I can tell them that it's okay to be unsure about what you want. I'm unsure about what I want. Also, I don't know. I'm still exploring, I'm still looking. But being unsure doesn't mean you have to be lazy. No, you have to look for something to do. Even if it is not what you want or in your field, just do it. Maybe you will learn something eventually, and then maybe you will realize that it is your thing, but without trying, you cannot know it. So you can doubt, it is normal, but do not let the doubt takes control over you. Continue looking, searching for your path, and then you will find it.
Thank you, Moga. Those are wise words for anyone who is interested in pursuing law. If you're not even sure what aspect of law you want to get into, there are just several parts, and sometimes you will only know when you're in it that this is for me or this is not for me. But the point that she was making is you need to try. You need to be actively doing something, looking for those opportunities that help you. Moga will come back to you, but thank you for your time. We are going to move over to Ted and have a discussion with him. Ted is a recent master's graduate in cybersecurity. So I want to get a little bit of more understanding about Ted and his experience in job hunting before he actually started pursuing his master's. So Ted, welcome and thank you very much. If you can give us a little bit of insight into who you are and tell us about your journey so far in IT.
Yes. So I'm a recent graduate in main track in cybersecurity. Now, my journey into cyber isn't really that straightforward because before my master's, I had no background in cybersecurity and no interests. The little I knew about cybersecurity was that it was this high level, very high risk job that I wouldn't want to do because if you mess up, maybe it's critical systems of a company that go down. It was just like, no, that's not for me. Let me try coding or something else. But then I went to CMU, and good thing with them is they do practical hands-on projects. So whatever imposter syndrome you have about, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, you enter a class, you do a project, you get linked with some external company somewhere, and you struggle and you find a solution and you realize, oh, I can actually do this, I can secure some systems. So when that happened to me, it was like a light bulb switched. I was like, okay, I can do this. And then another thing with me was I didn't like any other area of IT. For me, I knew what I didn't like. I didn't know what I liked. I just knew I don't want to code. I don't want to be in cloud. I don't want to be in that. And it always felt so selfish, even when people asked me. I was like, deep down, I I know the things I don't want. Is that even normal? Is that how it's supposed to be? But then I just decided, keep an open mind, there has to be something. At worst, I'll pick the thing I hate the least. And when I came to CMU, cyber was, I gravitated towards it. And yeah, I just decided, okay, this is my thing. Let me do some more research. Let me get some background, some fundamental understanding, some footing, and then we can see where things go from there. So yeah, that was really my entry into cybersecurity up until now, that is.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting because there are many ways to skin a cat, and the process of elimination really works. If you don't know what you like, at least know what you don't like. If you don't know what you don't like, it actually eliminates some things. And that's exactly how you wound up in cybersecurity. So from your perspective, what does it take to build a credible career in cybersecurity, apart from your academics?
I would say the main thing I saw that stuck out to me was when I did my internship. You always hear about communication is important, communication, but I had never seen the, not even the benefit, the necessity of it until I did my internship. You find that cybersecurity is more collaborative than you think. I used to think you'd be like a hacker hidden in a dark corner somewhere doing your things, but you find you'll be put somewhere where there is coders, there is DevOps guys, there is different teams. They all need to be secured, and you are the person who's doing the security. So you have to understand so many different aspects of IT. So I would say when you're good at communication, you can, because you can't give like a presentation to DevOps guys and give the same exact presentation to cloud guys and the exact one to investors who are coming. You have to know how to deliver the information very specifically. Sometimes it's technical people, so you need the technical jargon and you get into the weeds of things. If it's an investor, you don't start telling them the technicals. You have to bring it down to the financial, the benefits, all these things. So communication really is key. Things can slow down so much and become so inefficient because teams just don't have that correct way of delivering the information across each other. Another thing I would say is you have to be so open-minded. One of my mentors told me really plainly that stagnation is death, really. Of course, he was being hyperbolic, but that is really the truth in cybersecurity. You'll create a solution today, be so proud of it. Tomorrow, there's some Chinese kid somewhere, 14 years old, who discovered some tool and has disrupted everything you thought you did. So you have to have this mindset of always current with a new thing. You hear something, Trump says something, or Elon Musk says, oh, there's this new attack. Your ears have to go there and see, okay, does this affect the ecosystem I'm in, all that. So you have to be, and it has to be intentional too. These things won't just find you, you won't just know them. You have to have a pipeline of information, always gaining new info of what's around you so that you grow, and stagnation really will kill you career-wise and even as you develop personally in your journey. I'd say those are the two main things.
Right, that's interesting. Those are soft skills that are obviously necessary, and you don't really understand the impact unless you are in it. And now you
Yeah,
have to
exactly.
communicate, and you realize I'm communicating the same message, but I have to package it in a different manner. And it's only when you're in there that you realize that, wow, I really need to work on my communication skills. And you chose a career with where learning never ends, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And it's like a law as well for Moga, that industry and laws are continuously changing. And
yeah,
in cybersecurity, technology is coming up, things are changing. Like you said, you need to know what's going on in the world and the changes
yeah.
that are coming. So how do you think you and other young professionals should approach this continuous learning and remaining relevant as technology improves?
I'd say one of the main things that helped me was having a mentor. And I don't really mean it has to be this super close relationship. You can just have someone you respect in the field, someone who's seen it, has been around maybe 5+ years, who's seen some things, who's seen different aspects of industry. Maybe they've been in academia, they've transitioned, so they have that idea of how the landscape looks. When you have someone to really hold your hand and tell you, the industry stopped going that way. You're wasting your efforts here. Focus this way. Like someone to just give you that guidance, especially at the beginning of things. Like for me, when I started, I saw like 10 different options and I was like, okay, so what happens now? I claimed I'm in cybersecurity, but now when it gets down to the weeds of things, if someone calls me and tells me, I need your help, where in cybersecurity do you fall? I wouldn't really know. But when I talked to my mentor, literally we had a 10-minute conversation and they listened to how I talk, how I approach things, and they were like, no, you're in offensive security, my friend. You just don't know it yet. Go look at this, read this, do this project. I did it, came back to him, I was like, oh my God, this is my area. So you find I would have lost maybe a year, and that year lost in the darkness, things still move forward. Nothing, it's not like tech will wait for you. So mentors are really, really important, even if it's just one or two in your specific field. Maybe someone whose job you'd want even sometimes. Then you just ask them, you probe, how do you scale the ecosystem? What goes on? Outside mentors, I'd say just capitalize on social media, really, because information is readily available. You just need to know where to find it. Problem is now you have to be careful not to be stuck in an echo chamber. Don't follow one or two, three things, and then that will be your whole thing. You say, okay, if the information is not here, then it's not important or relevant. You have to have very many different sources so that your information isn't stale and very specific and rigid, because adaptability is also key, very, very key. You'll be thrown into scenarios where you, even yourself, you doubt whether you can handle. But if you can sort of get through like the imposter syndrome and just break down your problems, solve them one by one, you'll realize, okay, these things are doable. So I'd say just maximize social media and have a mentor. Yeah. And make sure your information is gotten from multiple places so that you're not in some echo chamber. Yeah.
Yes, that's a great advice from you, Ted. You know, mentorship is one of the key things that can make or break your career, or that can either accelerate it or cause you to be stagnant. And it's not having a mentor, someone who will guide you, someone who will help you overcome some of the obstacles they went through, and you don't have to go through, because this mentor is literally saying, look left, look right. This is where you can find the information. And it's not necessarily spoon feeding, but you need that guidance in order for you to advance in your career. Now let's talk about work opportunities or job hunting. I mean, you recently graduated. What are some of the challenges you have experienced when trying to convert that training into real employment opportunities?
So I'd say the biggest issue I faced when I started job hunting in cybersec ecosystem was you find that entry-level positions, which is basically internships, no, the companies are very averse to, excuse me, to wanting to hire an entry-level person to a position that they expose you to the critical systems, and then after 4 months they release you. That's a very big risk, a very big cybersecurity risk. It means you're inviting people on that you are not even hiring. And in cybersec, we have this thing called insider threats, where, say, a disgruntled employee who's fired, they still have knowledge of your company, of your system, so they decide, I'll blackmail or I'll cripple your infrastructure because you fired me and I feel bad about it. So there's that really big risk. So employer side, they look at it like, having a funnel of interns in and out our doors, exposing them to their systems isn't ideal. So they won't really do it. They'll still put in the job opportunities and you'll apply thinking, okay, it's viable, I fit every criteria. But internally, they look at interns and go like, unless it's via heavy referral, I don't think we can really take this person on. So there's that really, it's a really big problem. Even the alumni I know from Carnegie, however good their certifications were, however well they had their GPA, they tell you, I got hired either by luck, I met this guy at a restaurant, we talked, blah, 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 or it was purely by referral. This alumni I knew linked me. It's never by merit of my CV, my application. It's rarely real. So I'd say that's a really big issue for entry-level people, especially.
That's such a new dynamic to handle, which if I'm looking at it now, that means I need to up my networking skills. I need to be out there. I need to be speaking to people in the industries to try and find the opportunities. Like you said, especially you're coming fresh off the university, and now you want to get into the job market, but the internship programs, they can't take interns that they're not going to hire. So if you come in there and you don't perform well and they don't want to take you, now letting you go, it's quite a challenge. It's a risk more than it is a challenge. So that's a different dynamic that the tech industry is navigating. So social skills now become even utmost importance, knowing how to pitch yourself. Those elevator pitches, those 2-minute introductions that you need to make. It's that one opportunity that you're going to make. So Ted, thank you. We'll come back to you towards the end of the program. It's interesting to know and to get an insight of how cybersecurity works. Now we're going to go to our last guest, and this is Shine Tushabe. And Shine is originally from Uganda. She is based in Equatorial Guinea. So Shine, welcome, and thank you for joining me this afternoon.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. And I'm glad to be on this platform. Yeah.
Right, let's jump straight into it. Just a little bit of background about yourself. Just if you can just tell us who you are and in what profession you are in.
Like you've introduced me already, Shine Tushabe is my name. I'm from Uganda, but currently in Equatorial Guinea, and I'm on the training program with HireMe Afrika, Koya Innovation Hub here in Malabo. I hold a bachelor's degree of arts in social sciences, but I majored in public administration and gender studies. My profession is mainly built around service delivery, integrity, and problem solving. I've had a chance of working with a few projects back in Uganda. I've worked as a field officer on different projects dealing with in different communities, both in the rural areas and in the urban center of Kampala. I've also been a parasocial worker working with health centers, supporting orphans and vulnerable children who have HIV/AIDS. Yeah, I think that is my background.
That's quite intensive and quite broad, because you're now mixing public administration and then also the gender studies. But when we look at the careers and the industries, the opportunities that are there for you, you will find that people will study the social issues, but then they struggle to get into the job market, right? What are some of the challenges you've seen or the gaps you've seen from going to studying what you studied and actually finding roles and opportunities in that field?
Okay, just to take you back a little bit, I've missed out telling you how these two, the public administration and gender studies, like how do these two make change in the society? So in public administration, here it gives us the system dimension, like we see things according to what systems that the government set up. And then the gender, it brings in the equality, the inequality lens. So when the governments want to address an issue like poverty in the communities, they set up policies. So within these policies, we want to see if this policy cannot favor all the groups in the communities. It means that there is not going to be any development. So if just the policy focus mainly, let's say, on men, it means that it has left out women, it has also left out the elders and other vulnerable groups. So with these two, they move hand in hand to see that there is a new change that comes and no one is left behind. If it is poverty, it is addressed, like everyone is involved, and development and change can happen in the society. Yes, and to move to the next question of kindly help me remember it.
The gaps that you've seen in people who've studied what you've studied and actually getting roles and opportunities, what gaps are they?
The gaps is that the academics that we study, it gives us a lot of theories. And when it comes to the working world, the employers are looking for practical skills. So like Moga said, that a lot of theories are being studied in class, but here when the employer employs you or gives you an opportunity to work with them, they want you to showcase a skill. And we find that our graduates or the young professionals do not have the skills. Someone cannot even manage a customer. Yeah, they cannot communicate very well when they are out here in these spaces. So that one becomes a very huge challenge when it comes in this working space. I think the other thing is the experience. We see that our employers, when they are looking for people to employ, they mostly target those with experience, and a fresh graduate does not have any experience. Like they've been in school, they've just come to try and also do something, and here the employer is saying, I want 2 to 3 years or 2 to 4 years of experience, and this person really does not have any experience in this field. So I feel like so many fresh graduates are really struggling because of this thing of experience. Maybe the other thing I can talk about is the young professionals lack connection. Like Ted mentioned that for him in his career, as he has a master's degree, but he cannot just be employed like that. Like it is not easy for him to find a job, yeah, unless if you are connected with someone. So here, like in this generation, it's so hard now that it is technical know-how, not technical know-how. Like it's not what you know, but is there someone who knows you? So the young professionals really, they've not built enough connections to actually be in the workspaces.
That's that's a sobering one about it's not what you know, it's who you know. in order for you to get into the workspace. And it's pretty dominant and prevalent a lot in Africa. It doesn't matter which country you're in. It's about who can refer you, who do you know, who has their hands on your CV in order for you to get the job. So now networking then becomes important. But for someone who doesn't even know where to start with networking, it becomes a challenge. It becomes something that is restrictive for them. If you think about some of these networking events, they cost money. And you're a recent graduate, you don't have a job, and maybe finances are tight. So imagine going to pay to go to a networking event. You actually have to pay even for transport costs to go to that networking event. It really becomes limiting to a person who has the desire to have it, to network, to socialize, to mingle with people and sell themselves. So indeed, that is a gap that is there. And even with the experience things, sometimes you'll be thinking, I will not get the experience if you don't give me the opportunity. But a lot of companies don't have the capacity to be training people, right? To train somebody from scratch in the job. They see it as either it's time consuming, right? Maybe they are understaffed as it is. So to find someone who will intentionally teach them the right things becomes a challenge. Whereas if I go, someone who's ready to go, immediately I employ them, they know where to start. So these are some of the real world challenges that are there when it comes to getting into the job market. So how do you, as an individual, how have you found it explaining your value in the market, right? Because you've come up here, you've got public administration and gender studies, you've gone out, you've got your field work. How then do you communicate your value, what you can bring into an organization?
Okay, with that, in my past experiences, it was really hard, and I got chances of being in interviews, and after the interview, of course, you leave the room and you're like, no, I've really not done anything. Like, it is not easy to express yourself when you don't have like when you've not gone through any training. Maybe someone tells you that this is how you must answer the questions. So I want to thank this training program, because it has really given me the confidence to speak. Even today, it is not easy just to speak with you, like being on this platform to speak today. It's not easy. So I've learned how to brand myself and to stand out and to say what I know out. Like, it is all about daring yourself out there. So you give it your all, you say something. Like, I've learned a lot on what to say. Like, back then, me, I'm this shy kind of a person. I'm too reserved with my things. When you ask me something, I'm just going to say like 2-3 words and I'm quiet. And when you enter into an interview room, someone expects you to give it your best, to say something at least. But when you are just there quiet, they ask you only say like 2-3 things. Someone is doubting your confidence, is doubting what you know. However much you have, a lot that you actually understand and you can give to them.
No, I totally understand that. And that is the challenge. It's expecting you to know what to do when you don't even know what is expected of you, right? And to be able to have a clear professional identity, that this is how I'm going to be selling myself. It's one of the key things that we, right at the beginning, we say, learn how to sell yourself, position yourself, so that now you know, this is my profession, this is my career, and this is how I want to sell myself. So for you, if you could change just one thing about how young professionals are prepared for social impact work, what would it be?
First of all, I would encourage them to learn how to communicate. Mostly people who are into the advocacy space, like people who have done the social sciences that have done. If you really cannot speak, like you are basically not going to do anything, because here a lot of talking is done, because we deal so much into collaborations, stakeholder engagements. So if you really cannot sit down, speak to people, and they get to understand you, there is no way you're going to be allowed into these spaces. The next thing maybe I would advise them is to use digital tools. In this era, we are working smarter, not harder, but all we need is efficiency. So if you are employed into a working space and you are still doing things the way how people in 2000s were doing their stuff, I think you are really not going to be efficient, and the world is actually running. A lot of competition is going on, and we need to catch up. So, as a younger professional in this space of advocacy, you need to make AI your friend, and use all the digital tools to support you. Another thing is they need to adopt a skill of being organized, because here we are dealing with important information. In advocacy, a lot is being said. So if you are this kind of a person who is so disorganized, you're going to scatter all the information everywhere. A lot is going to be doubt about your credibility and what you know. So yeah, that is what I would maybe urge our young professionals to have.
All right. Thanks a lot, Shine. That has really given us some input or more knowledge about, the social impact and some of the challenges that are being faced by young professionals, those who are seeking to, to get into this role. But these are the real life challenges that are being faced that need to be addressed, that companies need to be aware of, organizations need to be aware of, universities need to be aware of. These are the skills that are needed. So just to round up, you are all from our work readiness program. And I just want to get a little bit of, to tell our audience about the program and some of the highlights that you have concerning the program and what really impacted you during that time in the program. So I will start with you, Shine, and then I will go to Moga.
So about this program, I think each and every fresh graduate needs it, because these things that we learn in the program, they are not taught in those classes. And this program really teaches you, it gives you the confidence. It helps you to brand yourself. Personally, I never knew that as a person, I need to brand my career, like brand myself and sell myself outside there. All I knew was that branding is for products. That is what I knew. But here I've learned that as a person, you need to work on your personal brand, know what your values are, know your career path and how you want it to move. I've gained much confidence to speak. Public speaking is not an easy thing, speaking and then someone listens, because some people will speak and then they are just whispering. It is not easy. So with this program, I thank it so much that I can say someone can really hear me, they can understand me. So yeah, I really, really appreciate that program. And then I have my CV. I've tried. I haven't gotten the job, but the few people that I've shared my CV with, they're like, yes, this CV speaks volumes. Like it says, it is so nice. But those days, someone wouldn't even want to look at your CV. Like you send it to them, they see it, they even don't give you feedback. But yeah, someone just reads it and is like, this is impressive. I wish everyone would be doing this. So yeah, that is what I can say about this program. It is really a very, very nice program, and I wish everyone, each graduate would have access to such a program. It is really, really transforming, yeah, and preparing for the workplace.
All right, thank you, Shine, for your feedback. Now we'll go to Moga and hear about her experience in the work readiness program and some of the highlights that she has regarding the program.
Okay, so first of all, thank you for the program. I was just scrolling on social media, and then I came across the video of someone who attended, who was talking about it, and then I started, maybe why not? And it was really helpful because not long ago, I attended my first networking event. And for the first time, I went to brand myself to people, to talk to people. Actually, I start talking to, I didn't know them, but I start talking to people. So HireMe Africa helped me to do that. It's a really helpful program. It teaches you how to write a CV. Like Shine said, it's really important. My first CV, the first CV I wrote compared to my current CV, you can't compare. You can't compare at all. And then about the work readiness, I said before, you can be from the same generation, but you are not made in a workplace. So HireMe Africa helped me how to communicate with people in a workplace. It's really important. They are not your friend, they are not your mate, they are your boss, your employer. So there is a certain way to behave in and out. It's really important. So HireMe Africa is a necessary tool. I didn't know about my strengths, who I am. Today I can say who I am. I can sell myself to people like who I am. The first session I attended about, self-branding, who are you? And then I asked Mrs. Lorraine, what do you mean by who I am? My name is Muga Denodronziglia. This is who I am apart from, that. And then she told me, go and ask people. How do people perceive you? How you behave around people? Ask people, and then they will tell you who you are. This is who you are. So it's a good program. It helps a lot. And every student, whether you are an undergraduate, postgraduate, you need it because it helps you narrow the gap between the theory and the practice. Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Moga. And I've seen you all from the time that you have started to where you are right now. And it's always so encouraging for me and for the other facilitators to actually see the growth that you have shown, the understanding of how to present yourself professionally, how to be confident when you're speaking through the public speaking. I know some of you were shy, you don't want to switch on your camera, the words wouldn't come out of your mouth, but today you can actually hold a conversation, and you went for a networking meeting, which is awesome. This is what we want you to do, to be confident when you go out there in the workplace. That's what makes you stand out from somebody else who has not joined the program. So we're going to come to Ted. He's from our Kenya cohort, and he's almost done with the program. How has the work readiness program been for you? Some of the highlights and things that have stood out.
Yeah, so for me, the experience has been great. I'd say the key highlight would be professional branding. Like work readiness made me realize that it's not really just about what your CV has. Who you are is on the internet out there. Someone only needs to go through your LinkedIn, your social media, your portfolio, your GitHub repo. And even from that, they'll get a sense of who you are, even based on how bad it or unfinished it is. So you always have to be so conscious of that side of things. It's not just about, oh, I have these skills, I'm good at this, and I'm confident in an interview. You won't even really reach that point if your whole other aspects of branding yourself aren't completely on point. And when you're competing with millions in the job market, it's really those fine margins, the difference between how you've aligned your CV as opposed to someone else, how you structured something just slightly better. It made me realize that it is the details of the small things that you might think, I can kind of get away with one or two. No, you really have to be so specific. Your whole branding is already out there. So it's really about doing a due diligence, making sure you don't have some weird random political nonsense in your Twitter that will deny you some job at Google when you've done all the interviews and everything. So yeah, really professional branding is the biggest takeaway for me.
Right. Thank you so much for that insight. And it's also on the technical part. What I always say to people, like, be careful what you put out there, how you brand yourself, how you position yourself, especially in this digital era. If I just think of it, if someone says, "Oh, if I meet somebody," then I'll go to their socials to find out what kind of person they are. What is their thinking? What is their, what do they post? How do they post it? And the reality is, in this job market, that's what some of them are going to look at. So our work readiness program really positions you in a place where you are at an advantage and you are a professional. You go out there in a professional way. You know how to handle yourself in the workplace. You understand what emotional intelligence is. Your presentation in terms of your CV and everything has got you there. You will know how to do presentation skills, to be confident in public speaking. And these are the little details that he said that will make you stand out in those interviews. And that's what we prepare you in our work readiness program. So in this episode, we had the chance to speak to actual talent who are in the job market, who have gone through the program or are going through the program, and they've seen the value and benefits of it. So if you want to be a part of the program, you can sign up on our website at hiremeafrica.com. You can also check out our social media and LinkedIn pages. There you will get access to how you can sign up for our program. We take them on monthly, and we have our next registration that is happening currently, and we're starting on the 25th of April. So make sure you sign up for that work readiness program. So to my guest, Moga, originally from Chad, from Shine, originally from Uganda, Ted, originally from Kenya, such a Pan-African panel today. Thank you so much for joining. And we've come to the end of our show. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you again in the next episode as we visit another country. Thank you and goodbye.